journal de 12 heures sur la Cameroun Radio Television. Good afternoon, Mohamed Nana.
Good day, Emmanuela.
You have the headlines.
In the headlines, des lions indomptables qui veulent marquer leur territoire et des lions de l'Atlas qui tiennent à conserver leur couronne. Duel de félins ce mercredi à 20h en demi-finale du CHAN. 4 heures avant, chaude explication à Douala entre la Guinée et le Mali. Le 12h a déjà chaussé ses crampons. Sur le terrain de la religion, les au revoir de son éminence Pietro Cardinal Parolin, l'envoyé spécial du Vatican au Cameroun, a quitté Yaoundé ce matin au terme d'un séjour d'une semaine. Vous l'entendrez dans ce journal. Et puis, dans le fauteuil de l'invité ce midi, Jean-Marc Afessi-Mbafor, membre de la commission de promotion du bilinguisme et du multiculturalisme. À la faveur de la semaine du bilinguisme, nous parlerons des enjeux de cet héritage colonial. Merci, madame, monsieur, d'avoir choisi la CRTV pour vous informer.
J'ai personnellement constaté que la plupart de nos concitoyens ne respectent plus les mesures de protection édictées par le gouvernement.
We open the news in religion. The Secretary of State of the Vatican, His Eminence Pietro Cardinal Parolin, has left Cameroon after a 7-day visit to the country. Prime Minister Joseph Dion Goute was at the Yaoundé-Timalen airport early today to see off the Pope's envoy. A delegation of religious officials of the Roman Catholic Church was equally present to bid farewell to the Cardinal, but before taking off for the Vatican, His Eminence He expressed satisfaction with the time spent in the country. He spoke to our reporter, Christian Cheatam. Take a listen.
I think that the balance is good. It's good because I was able to accomplish my mission. This is my impression, to have meetings with the political authorities and to talk about many issues, especially the issues of peace and reconciliation with the English region, and then to have, let's say, this closeness to the Catholic community during the different celebrations.
Officials of the central and decentralized services of the Ministry of Agriculture and Rural Development are examining steps towards the evolution of the agricultural sector within the 2020-2030 strategic framework for the ministry. The annual conference, presided by Agriculture and Rural Development Minister Gabriel Mbairobe, is holding in Yaoundé through video conferencing. Mohamed?
Et dans la suite du 12h, une interrogation. Comment faire germer l'agriculture au Cameroun en 2021? Les responsables des services centraux et déconcentrés, des programmes et des organismes sous tutelle de ce département ministériel tracent depuis ce matin à Yaoundé les sillons réunis autour du ministre Gabriel Mbairobe. Il s'approprie le cadre stratégique 2020-2030 dont l'un des enjeux est l'opérationnalisation de la révolution agricole au Cameroun. Nous y reviendrons plus en détail dans nos prochaines éditions avec le concours de nos équipes. C'est sur un sentiment de satisfaction que le légat du pape François, son éminence Pietro Cardinal Parolin, a quitté Yaoundé ce matin au terme d'une visite de 7 jours. Comme à son arrivée, l'hôte du chef de l'État était accompagné à l'aéroport international de Yaoundé-Timalen par le Premier ministre Joseph Dion Goute. Je vous propose de l'écouter dans cet extrait sélectionné par Laurentine Bekono.
Je suis très content, très heureuse de cet séjour que j'ai passé ici au Cameroun. Et premièrement, pour l'accueil que j'ai reçu, vraiment ça m'a ému. Vraiment parce qu'il y avait un grand accueil de la part de tout le monde, des autorités politiques, de l'Église et de la population aussi. On peut rencontrer beaucoup de gens dans les différentes célébrations. La mission qui m'a été confiée, c'était d'exprimer la proximité et la solidarité du Saint-Père envers ce pays envers ces populations. Et un peu avoir des colloques avec les autorités. Je suis très reconnaissant au président de la République qui m'a reçu longtemps et avec lequel on a pu parler un peu de la situation en général du Cameroun et surtout de la situation dans les régions anglophones. Je lui dirais qu'il y a aussi au Cameroun le désir d'avoir le pape. Le Cameroun a déjà connu 3 visites de pape. Il est un peu habitué à cet événement parce que Jean-Paul II était ici 2 fois et le pape Benoît XVI. Mais de toute façon, je dirais au pape qu'il y a... Et après, il va lui décider ce qu'il veut faire.
The population of Limbe and environs is breezing up to watch live matches tonight at the semi-final match pitting Cameroon and Morocco at the Limbe Omnisport Stadium. The excitement has reached fever pitch as they believe they would cheer the Lions to victory. Guy Roger Nana is standing by live in one popular junction in Limbe with the latest information. Hello, Guy Roger.
Right now we are at Half Mile, very popular junction here in Limbe, and just to tell you that the people here are actually in the colors, or rather preparing to get in the colors of football, in the colors of Cameroon this evening, when they will actually be standing to support their team, the Indomitable Lions. As you can see right behind me, a lot of people are actually fighting to get their hats, to get their handbands, to get, I don't know, their flags. Even the motorbike riders around here are super excited. We will just talk quickly to some of the fans who are out here preparing. You told me that you are here to buy your gadgets to support the Lions. How ready are you for
that? I'm preparing that we can win them 2-0 because for many times we play in their own field and win them. So I'm preparing that as I'm going to the start. I'll give them that courage to win because many times we have been playing finals in their own start, we win them there.
We have another fan with us who will certainly tell us how are you preparing for the game in the evening? How are you guys mobilizing?
We are moving so great. Why? It's Cameroon 3-0.
Let's talk quickly to some other fan who is probably going to tell us. You are selling your gadgets. Tell us quickly. What do you think is going to be the score for tonight?
Today I'm gonna knock that boy for 2-1.
2-1.
Yes.
You're smiling like you have something to tell us. What do you think will be the score for tonight?
Well, I believe Morocco is a difficult team.
Yeah.
But we are going to win the match.
Yeah. Are you going to be in the stadium?
For sure, sir. I'm going to be at the stadium.
Okay, that is the feeling here in Limbe, ladies and gentlemen. We are presently at Half Mile here. And of course, it's a lot of excitement. The people here are mobilized. They are happy and of course preparing to stand by the Intermediate Lions until victory. Limbe is certainly not going to be an exception because the people here believe that the Intermediate Lions must actually win their game here in Limbe. Reporting for CRTV live at the Half Mile Junction here in Limbe, I am Guy Roger Nana for the Midday News.
Thank you, Guy Roger Nana. The enthusiasm remains same for fans of the Intermediate Lions in Bamenda who have expressed hope that Cameroon will sail through to the finals by winning their semi-final match tonight. They say the team will, however, need a compact defense style, a more aggressive midfield and a clinical attack to win their opponents. Kilo Valerine Salai sampled their opinions in the following report.
Excitement, suspense, enveloped in twists and turns, and grinded Intermediate Lions victories are finally secured. The trademark of the selections group stage chant matches as some fans of station Bamenda are led into a heated atmosphere. Cameroon-Morocco semi-final clash. The Lions' passage into the final is pinned on a compact defense.
Yankam Basil, left back for PWD Bamenda. Bung Joel Ondoa. These are players who have played with PWD Bamenda. With their goalkeeper again, Hashu Kerido. I think a combination of these PWD two defenders that have been playing alongside with him, I think it's going to be a wall of Jericho that will be built around the defensive compartment of Cameroon.
The midfield, shy of box-to-box midfielders, must also be sharpened to the occasion standard.
I think it's like a final before another one. so the match will be very difficult. Both teams are really strong.
Cameroon-Morocco semi-final match, a battle of the greats, one as host, another as defending champions.
We go over to the littoral region where the Atlas Lions of Morocco had their last training session at the Bepanda Next Stadium in Douala ahead of today's clash against the Intermediate Lions of Cameroon. Football fans in Douala have cleaned up their whistles and their vuvuzelas and are getting set to cheer the Lions to victory. Snorsel, Anoebie report.
A few hours to the semi-final between Cameroon and Morocco in Limbe, some supporters in Douala foresee a very tough encounter.
When we look at the fields, we find that they have done it well. And this is the work of experts. In the same way, Cameroonians should bring experts of football so that they will play and win, and then Cameroonians will be happy.
We look at Morocco. Morocco has a tactic, they play so well. So if Cameroon want to win this match, they have to extremely work hard and have love in what they're doing.
Many people are hopeful that the Intermediate Lions will make the difference with an impressive win.
I have confidence on my country. I'm sure they are going to beat Morocco at least 3-0.
We will win Morocco by 2-1.
The Moroccan side, which opted to remain in Douala, had their last training session at the Bepanda Next Stadium last evening before traveling to Limbe today.
We go back to Limbe. Talk to the doctor of the team of Cameroon, who is assuring the population of the state of the Lions before they go down on the turf tonight. Let's take a listen.
We just finished the concentration session, and you know that when the match is in the evening, the player needs to, in the morning, to have a small activation, muscular skeletic activation. Is what they did now.
Thank you very much, sir.
You are welcome.
Pour leur première à ce stade de la compétition, les Lions indomptables sont déterminés à écrire l'histoire à coups de griffe ce soir. Au fil de la compétition, le groupe s'est transformé en une équipe conquérante face aux Lions de l'Atlas. Le duel s'annonce palpitant. Allons tout de suite à Limbe où notre envoyé spécial Joël Igor Abanda s'est introduit dans la tanière des Lions indomptables. Bonjour Joël Igor, quelles sont les dernières nouvelles là-bas ?
Bonjour Mahmoud Nana, bienvenue ici à l'hôtel qui abrite les Lions indomptables A' du Cameroun. Ce matin, ils se sont bien réveillés, comme l'ont dit leurs entraîneurs. Les joueurs sont prêts à observer la marche d'oxygénation qui va leur permettre de se détendre ce matin avant la rencontre du soir.
Toutes nos excuses pour la qualité de cet élément. Je vous propose à présent cette attitude du médecin des Lions indomptables A' qui rassure sur l'état de santé des joueurs à quelques heures de la rencontre de ce soir.
Nous avons l'habitude de la programmer, surtout quand nous avons les matchs un peu en fin d'après-midi ou en soirée. Parce que vous savez, si les joueurs se réveillent, restent dans leur lit toute la journée en attendant le match du soir, les muscles peuvent avoir vraiment du mal à se reprendre. Donc, on programme généralement une petite séance de réveil musculaire. Et comme on avait l'avantage d'avoir ici la main, on a ici profité pour bien leur faire oxygéner leurs poumons avec quelques séquences de yoga, pour vraiment permettre de bien se respirer et commencer à se concentrer pour le match. Donc voilà quoi, donc c'est une séance assez classique.
Alors les gars sont prêts?
Oh, les gars sont prêts, vous voyez. On espère vraiment maintenant qu'ils seront concentrés et parce que le match c'est dans quelques heures seulement.
Nous le disions il y a un instant, pour leur première à ce stade de la compétition, les Lions A' sont déterminés à écrire l'histoire à coups de griffe ce soir. Au fil de la compétition, le groupe s'est transformé en une équipe conquérante face aux Lions de l'Atlas. Le duel s'annonce donc palpitant. Allons tout de suite à Limbé où notre envoyé spécial Joël Igor Abanda s'est introduit dans la tanière des Lions indomptables. Bonjour Joël Igor, quelles sont les dernières nouvelles là-bas?
Nana, bienvenue ici à la plage qui jonche l'hôtel Fini Hôtel qui abrite les Lions indomptables A' du Cameroun. C'est ici qu'ils ont choisi de venir se détendre et faire des étirements avec leur encadreur technique et notamment le médecin qui leur a fait comprendre que cette marche est positive pour eux. Il faut s'oxygéner avant la rencontre. C'est ce qu'ils sont en train de faire, des exercices qu'ils ont pu faire tout à l'heure. Vous les voyez en image, ils sont relax. Pas de cas de maladie depuis cette matinée. Ils ont commencé par le petit déjeuner, comme généralement ça se fait au sein de la tanière. La matinée a bien commencé. Le moral est au beau fixe. Les jeunes sont prêts à défendre les couleurs du Cameroun lorsqu'ils seront face aux Lions de l'Atlas A' tout à l'heure. Voilà donc l'image que nous avons derrière nous. Vous pouvez encore les voir. Ils sont bien positionnés, prêts à retourner à leur hôtel. Justement, bien avant cela, ils ont réussi à dialoguer avec leur famille au téléphone, prendre les nouvelles des familles. Ça permet aussi de booster le moral de ces joueurs qui vont tout à l'heure, lorsqu'il sera 20h, hors du Cameroun, au stade Omnisport de Limbé, affronter les Lions de l'Atlas A' du Maroc. À vous l'antenne.
Et nous attendons vivement les voir rugir ce soir. Les supporters des Lions indomptables, eux, sont chauffés à blanc. Dans le nord-ouest, ils croient fortement aux chances de l'équipe camerounaise. Les pronostics à Bamenda donnent vainqueur les poulains de Martin Tungumpile. Emmanuel Koloko a rassemblé leurs avis dans ce reportage.
La ville de Bamenda vibre à chaque rencontre disputée par les Lions indomptables A' depuis le début du championnat d'Afrique des Nations. Les populations à la fois enthousiastes et optimistes croient réellement au fighting spirit qui mènera à la victoire.
Je pense que le Cameroun va gagner. Ako Asomo et Banga qui vont vraiment marquer.
Nous avons confiance à cette équipe parce que sur le plan défensif, ils ont montré beaucoup de qualité.
Les plus avertis estiment qu'il faudra faire des ajustements tactiques contre le Maroc qui semble plus coriace que les précédents adversaires.
Nous avons devant nous une équipe marocaine qui est très forte. Si on a une milieu de terrain qui est vraiment actif, il peut amener les ballons pour donner aux attaquants.
C'est un match qui sera assez violent parce que c'est deux équipes vraiment très fortes.
En tout cas, les Lions indomptables séduisent le public dans le nord-ouest. Leur victoire apporte toujours un peu plus de joie et nourrit l'idéal de beaucoup.
À 20h du côté de Limbé, l'on suivra, on l'a dit, le duel des fauves entre les Lions indomptables A' et les Lions de l'Atlas. À quelques heures de cette rencontre décisive pour les deux équipes, revisitons les confrontations entre les deux pays. C'est avec Armand Ambassa.
Depuis la première édition du championnat d'Afrique des Nations de football en 2009, jusqu'à cette 6e édition, c'est la première fois que le Cameroun et le Maroc se rencontrent. Pourtant, les deux pays se sont affrontés plusieurs fois aux éliminatoires des Coupes d'Afrique des Nations, en phase finale ou pendant les matchs amicaux. Tenez par exemple sur leurs 5 derniers face-à-face, le Cameroun totalise 2 victoires contre 1 pour le Maroc et 2 matchs nuls. Le 7 juin 2009, les Lions de l'Atlas et les Lions indomptables du Cameroun se séparaient sur le score de 0 but partout lors de la 2e journée éliminatoire de la CAN Coupe du Monde 2010. 5 mois plus tard, le Cameroun prenait le dessus sur le score de 2-0. Le 13 novembre 2011, en amical à Marrakech, le duel des fauves s'est soldé sur le score d'1 but partout. 6 ans plus tard, plus exactement le 10 juin 2017, le Cameroun dictait sa loi au Maroc, 1-0 au stade Omnisport de Yaoundé. Match comptant pour les éliminatoires de la CAN 2019. L'unique victoire marocaine sur ces 5 dernières rencontres date du 16 novembre 2018. 2-0, score final, les Lions d'Atlas décrochaient leur qualification pour la CAN 2019. Qu'en sera-t-il ce soir à Limbé pour les sélections A'? Josué Annecy.
As the Intermediate Lions brace up to face the Atlas Lions of Morocco tonight during their semi-final cracker at the Limbe Omnispo Stadium, football experts say the lineup used to win DR Congo should be maintained. They insist the coach should reinforce the play style, techniques and the physique of the boys to create the most awaited sensation. Cyril Nozike.
The first 15 minutes of a 90 minutes or more football game, if well managed, could be advantageous, football coaches say. As the Intermediate Lions take on the Atlas Lions in their crucial semi-final cracker, only a convincing and determined 11-man squad will deliver. But they won. A winning team doesn't change.
The best is to bring the same team where they played the quarterfinal.
We are the host country, so we don't have to make mistake.
The frailties of the Moroccan team should help coach Ntungu Pile put up a winning tactical play system.
Our team have many solutions to create a sensation. We are going to see a big Cameroon team tomorrow, tactically, technically, I hope, and physically.
The Moroccans are noted for their agility, vivacity and team spirit. It will then take only a determined Cameroon side this Wednesday to turn the tables.
Guinea and Mali take on each other tonight at 4 p.m. at the Japoma Stadium for the semi-final match of the 2020 CHAN. 4 hours to the kickoff, we join our reporter GT Clarice, who is live from the Japoma Stadium in Douala. Clarice, what is the latest out there?
Hello Yaoundé, welcome to Japoma. In a couple of hours only, a very interesting game is going to take place right here in this arena. It is a very serious West African derby, Guinea versus Mali, a semi-final fixture of the ongoing African Nations Championship. As you can see, works are being done here. The turf has already been leveled and fresh paint is being put ahead of the game. Last-minute committee meetings are also taking place here and there. A security team has been deployed already to make sure that this game goes on. And that is not the only thing. We have seen already camera crews are already setting up to make sure you have the best of images. Well, the stadium is still empty for now, but in a couple of hours, it will not be empty anymore. It will be filled with supporters who are coming to show their love of football. Today is also very important here, very significant here, because when the referee blasts the whistle to announce the start of the game, it will be the last time that happens here in Japoma. It is the last game in this stadium, in this competition. So it's a little bit nostalgic for the entire team here. But we'll keep our spirits up. Soon enough, another competition will be hosted here. Confederation of African Football have made it clear that only 25% of the stadium has to be filled with supporters as part of our barrier measures to fight the coronavirus. That is all we have for you. For our last midday news from this Japoma Stadium, I am GT Clarice, technically assisted by Bruno Donwe.
Thank you very much, Clarice. Nous sommes en plein dans la semaine du bilinguisme. Ce mercredi marque la 3e journée des activités à travers le pays. Et comme invité during this midday edition of the newscast, we receive Jean-Marc Afesimbafo. He's the member of the National Commission for Bilingualism and Multiculturalism. Good day, sir.
Good day.
Glad to have you on the Midday News.
Always my pleasure.
Your commission saw the light of day immediately after the national dialogue in 2019. Since then, what are some of the strides you have made?
A point of correction. The commission was created before the national dialogue, 2017. But to talk about the strides we've made in bilingualism, our first start by saying our commission is an advisory organ. So we do a lot of observation, sensitization, and make our reports to the head of state, who in his magnanimity, in his wisdom, knows what to do with the reports for the proper implementation of and proper following up of the reports that were sent to him, so those things are properly implemented within the government and within state organs.
In other words, your commission does not have the powers to mete out sanctions, to sanction those who might be seen as defaulters in the practice of this.
Like I said, our organ receives complains, our organ observes, our organ makes reports to the head of state. Our organ is essentially an advisory organ.
Has your organ observed already that there are still lots of lapses when they come to bilingualism practice in Cameroon, especially the documents that are produced for public use? Most of them still come in French, and when they do come in English, the English language on the documents are wanting.
I would say we are making progress on that front. Yes, there are those lapses that still are lingering. Bad habits die hard. But we are making a lot of progress on that on that front. I'll take one of the activities we do, which is going down to public institutions, government ministries, parapublic institutions, or institutions that receive subvention from the state, where we try to sensitize, we try to follow up on the same application of the law as far as the use of two official languages are concerned. And we see a lot of progress, a lot of effort being made by, I would say notably, the heads of departmental ministries. And yeah, those habits die hard. But again, in the law, there's a provision for each of these institutions to make sure that the training of their personnel is effective so that they can, in return, serve in the two official languages as the law makes provisions for.
Any Cameroonians think that you focus more on the big names, if I should use the term, in Cameroon, the directors, the ministers, and that they at the grassroots do not feel concerned?
Well, again, like I said, the law states that Section 6 of the law, Section 12, and I don't want to start into all the sections of the law, the responsibilities of the so-called big names, like you put it, their responsibility is making sure that their organs, their personnel comply with the law when it comes to serving the public. But again, the Commission has in its plans, in its organigram, in its projections, to have its regional offices, which will take the Commission closer to the population. And again, I would like to stress the fact that, contrary to what you may think, the Commission is accessible to the population because we have an open line, a free toll number, 1518, which every Cameroonian can call to denounce maybe issues of discrimination based on language. So yeah, we have those different mechanisms put in place and which we are following up to make sure that we are closer to the population. But again, like I said, our work is advisory principally.
Dans le prolongement de la question d'Emmanuela, est-ce que la réalité du terrain reflète effectivement vos ambitions?
Nous n'avons que 2 ans d'existence, 3 ans, 4 ans d'existence. Et le travail se fait progressivement. Nous sommes sur le terrain. Nous avons eu mandat d'aller sur le terrain pour nous rassurer que la loi est bien comprise, la loi est bien, les Camerounais, les organes constitutionnels s'approprient de la loi sur la promotion des langues officielles. Et c'est un travail qui se poursuit. C'est un travail quotidien de la Commission pour la promotion du bilinguisme. Donc c'est un travail qui se poursuit.
Est-ce que sur le terrain, vous avez le sentiment effectivement que ces Camerounais ont la volonté de s'approprier les 2 langues officielles?
Bien sûr, bien sûr. De plus en plus, nous voyons un engouement, un intérêt des Camerounais de pouvoir parler 2 langues, puisque c'est un avantage pour les Camerounais. Je pense que le message passe, je pense que les Camerounais comprennent de plus en plus l'avantage qui est le leur à pouvoir parler les 2 langues et maîtriser les 2 langues.
Mr. Fessimbafo, after this, what next? What is the Commission targeting to make bilingualism more of a communal thing for everybody in Cameroon?
Yes, well, we have a number of activities in perspective. Already a while ago I talked about the regional offices which are being set up and which will be set up which are going to effect this year. We have in view capacity building seminars. So we will continue our sensitization, our visit to ministries, even to regions, to continue sensitizing and talking about the benefits of bilingualism and multiculturalism also. Our work is it's permanent. That's our permanent job at the Commission, and we will continue doing what we've been doing for the past 3-4 years.
Thank you, Jacques-Marc Fessimbafo. He is a member of the National Commission for Bilingualism and Multiculturalism. Always a pleasure to have you on the meeting.
Always a pleasure. Thank you very much.
You stay with us. We take you now to a tourist destination in Cameroon. If you're thinking of where to have a quiet moment with nature, where you can leave your legs swing in water while being entertained by the chattering birds noises, then the Belle Marie Rocky Highlands in Mayo Baleo is your destination. The beautiful beautiful tourist attraction imposes itself in the locality as a must-visit area. Do not forget to bring your hook for a fishing expedition. Elise Wajibamia is our guide.
A peaceful and paradisiac environment. This is how many inhabitants of Mayo Baleo describe this rocky Bemlare landscape. The wonders of this space include twisted cliffs and refreshing rock pools, best for swimming and other leisure activities.
C'est un don de Dieu.
This is a gift from God. We think He had mercy on us and created this touristic attraction, which helps to have a cool head, especially during the dry season.
Compte tenu du contexte et de l'environnement.
The indigenous Pere people attributed the name Bemlare to the site due to these hanging sticks, linking Jamtari and other villages, as well as help for a better exploration of the rocky site.
Nous avons donc un projet qui comporte 8 axes.
We are thinking of ameliorating access to the site, creating a hotel around and also a restaurant for visitors.
Jusqu'ici, elle est longue de 15 km.
This spectacular jagged road attracts many people who commune with nature and often take home some precious stones as souvenirs.
C'est sur ce petit coin de paradis que le 12h se referme au nom des équipes techniques et rédactionnelles. Merci de nous avoir suivis. Emmanuel, la grosse actualité, c'est le match de ce soir. Pronostic
2-1 in favor of Cameroon, of course.
Allez,
Go Lions.
Cher Lyon, faites-nous rêver. Bon après-midi, madame, monsieur.
I urge you once again to put on your face masks, to wash your hands regularly, and to consult a physician or any other health personnel if you notice any symptoms. This is the only way to save lives and to curb the spread of the virus.